Hello and welcome to this lesson. In this lesson, we will be discussing one of the constitutions that existed before Nigeria's independence. Now, a constitution is a body of agreed rules and principles stating how the powers governing a country are given and how these powers are to be exercised. After explaining what a constitution means, I'd like us to know why we need a constitution. The fundamental rights of a citizen are in a constitution. Such rights include the right to vote, the right of movement, etc. The government also gains its power to govern from a constitution. A constitution, therefore, specifies the working of a government, its responsibilities, as well as duties of its citizens. Before Nigeria had its independence, it had a series of constitutions which were used to govern the regions across Nigeria. The first was the Hugh Clifford Constitution of 1922. Sir Hugh Clifford took over power from Lord Lugard and introduced a new constitution. This constitution introduced the Legislative Council and the Executive Council. The introduction of both councils meant that the people across Nigeria could vote for representatives to govern them. But before we go on, let's understand what a Legislative Council and an Executive Council mean. An Executive Council is made up of people voted into the executive arm of government with the responsibility of making decisions on policies, while the Legislative Council is composed of members from the legislature who meet to discuss problems affecting a nation. This wasn't the only thing that Clifford's constitution did. Clifford also introduced the first elective principle in Nigeria. This brought about Nigerians being able to vote in an election. Now, through that, he encouraged the development of political parties, and parties like the Nigerian National Democratic Party, NNDP, were introduced. He also increased the number of members in the Legislative Council to 46. As the first constitution in Nigeria, the Clifford Constitution gave power to the Governor General to make laws for the country. The Clifford Constitution was replaced with the Richard Constitution. The introduction of the Richard Constitution of 1946 was the result of various changes in government. During this time, the Richard Constitution brought about Nigeria's first attempt at a federal structure. The country was unified into a single council, but regional councils retained power. For example, the Governor General had the most power, but the regions also had power to perform their duties. There was also the presence of a bicameral legislature in the north, while the west and east operated in a unicameral legislature. This means that the north had 2 functional assemblies, while the south and east had 1 each. Interestingly, the Richards Constitution made provision for an executive council that would assist the Governor General in his duties. This led to better administration for Sir Richard, who served as the Governor General. Finally, the Richard Constitution established regional assemblies that served as electoral colleges for indirect elections to the Legislative Council. That's it, my friend. So let's take a quick summary. The Clifford Constitution of 1922 was the first constitution of Nigeria, and the Richard Constitution of 1946 replaced the Clifford Constitution. I can't wait to see you in another lesson where we discuss the Macpherson and Littleton Constitution, my friend. Bye!